Pre-match build-up, guys. It's the big one. I always say this when it's a big game, but no, this is the big one. And guys, the lineups have just come out. Let's get into it. Wagwan, everyone. I hope you're doing well and welcome back to another stream, another one on Tariq Talks. Guys, the intro is going to be nice and fast because we've got big news breaking true. Here is my brother, Wilf, the co-host on the Arsenal show. Wasn't able to be here as he had broadband issues, but he's back here. How you doing, man?
Oh, man, I'm rolling, man. I'm rolling. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm pumped. I'm gashed. Everything. Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you?
I am nervous, very nervous, and the lineups have just come out. So this is going to be breaking news for you as well, and everyone else that is watching here. And this is our reaction to the lineups coming out. I'm going to read him out for you first before I show it on screen.
I'm just gonna take my screen off for a sec because I've got.
Yeah, that's cool. No worries, man. No worries. But guys,
keep going though. Keep going. I can hear you.
Cool. Oh, you can hear me. So this is going to be the reaction. Yeah. You're right. In goal, we have Aaron Ramsdale, of course. Arsenal's number one, always going to be in goal. At the back. So there is a change made at the back. We have Zinchenko, Gabriel Saliba, and Tommy Yasu comes in for Benjamin White, who's on the bench for this one. So Takahiro Tomiyasu coming in at that right back position for Benjamin White. And of course, guys, we have a change in the midfield. The news broke earlier on. Thomas Partey is injured and he's not in the squad. And that's confirmed right now. Jorginho is in there in Thomas Partey's position. Massive news breaking out today and hours before the game. Literally a few hours before this team news has just broken through. But of course, in there, the rest of the team, there's no changes. You have Odegaard, Xhaka in the midfield onto the left and right of him. You have Saka on the right, Martinelli on the left, and Eddie Nketiah up top. So that means the bench is Turner, White, Tini, Kivior, Holding, Vieira, Trossard, Reece Nelson returns on the bench, and he's going to be taking Jorginho's spot, who's been promoted to the starting 11, and Kurja Dubry makes that final bench. But guys, Wilf, what's your reaction to that? So of course the big news of Thomas Partey and Tomiyasu being in the side.
You know what? It was always going to happen. Thomas Partey was always going to be missing for a big game. Yeah. He took up that rib injury. Obviously, it takes a while to come back from injuries. We know that. I'm quite happy with Jorginho sitting in there. The reason why I'm happy, he gives us a bit more stability in front of the back four, more than Partey does. He's not going to be marauding as forward as Partey would. I kind of like that because you know how fast City can hit on the break. Mm-hmm. So I'm not upset by this at all. That's what we bought him for. And looking back on the transfer window, if I would take him over Caicedo right now, because Jorginho's played in these big games. He's not going to be a rabbit caught in the headlights because he's won the big competitions. So I have no problem with that. Tomiyasu, again. He is a better. People forget one-on-one defending. There's very, 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 very few who are better than him at one-on-one defending. Yeah. Yep. So he's probably going to be what? Mahrez is going to be on his side. No, is it Mahrez?
Oh, do you want me to bring you the Manchester team?
Yeah, bring up Mahrez or Grealish is going to be on that side. Yeah, Tomiyasu can handle them, man. Yeah, he's handled the likes of Ronaldo. He's handled the likes of Messi. He's done that. And with Benjamin White's current form, and I'm talking about his immediate current form, it's a clever move to take him out the firing line for this big game, because no matter how good you are, how good you've had a season, if you know that your form isn't at its height going into this game, you're going to be nervous. and that is inclined. You're a defender. You're a defender.
Yeah.
You're inclined to go a bit too cautious, and you're not going to be as gung ho as you usually are.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with the changes.
Yeah,
and we wanted depth in our squad. We wanted. Your hair's looking nice, by the way.
I appreciate that, man. I had a fresh trim yesterday.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Trim. Yeah, you have to do it sometimes, man. But yeah, so obviously, my reaction to the Partey news, can't lie, when I first heard it, gutted, because, and it's not,
of course,
a doubt, nothing on Jorginho. It's because of what the player profile that we're missing in Thomas Partey, we don't have in the squad, unfortunately. And there's not many, as Harry says, and plenty of people know, Thomas Partey, players like that don't grow on trees, and they're a lot harder to find. Caicedo, we tried to make that move in the January window, of course, and he's someone that carries similar traits to Thomas Partey, someone who can play in that 6, someone who can play in that 8, and that's why we was willing to overpay as much as we was at the window time, but couldn't get it done. So this is a huge miss in terms of this game, because I was happy to bring in Jorginho to allow Partey to be rotated so that he's happy, so that he's fit and available to, or best chance to be fit and available to play in these types of games. When the tempo of this game is going to be really high in possession, that's not what I'm worried about, guys. Like, we're bringing in Jorginho and not El Nene, people. So the drop off isn't going to be in possession. We're not going to see a drop off in that area. What we're going to see is in transition. They're the areas, even defensively. Like, if we're set up in our shape and our position, guess what? If we're set up and we're in our shape, Jorginho is arguably better than Partey, because, as you see, his interception numbers and his tackle numbers are higher than Thomas Partey's this season. Exactly. So when in attack and defense, that's not the issue. But the third one is the transition. That's where we'll miss Partey in his recovery pace, his speed across the ground, his athleticism across the ground. Also, like we saw when Anthony tried to take him on that side and he came in and covered across there. That's the issue. And I do feel like in this game, there are going to be a lot of transitions, but it's Arsenal. What we're the best team at in this league is our counter press. So if we can generate a good enough counter press where City are going to struggle through transitions or not get many. Guys, we're playing Manchester City here. They are going to get chances in this game with or without Thomas Partey. So they
create the most chances in the league. They convert the most chances in the league. So
yeah, that's not the issue. The issue is what I'm saying is, if he's minimizing those transitions, and Jorginho's reading of the game, he's a thinker. This is why I've been praising the signing, and he's going to be able to do that. But in these types of games where you need that, you need that little bit of edge in that and that bite in that midfield, a little bit more of that physicality and something to cover across the ground. I think that's an area that, in particular, Kevin De Bruyne will be looking at. He's probably one of the best in midfield and transition in the world, in all honesty, and how he's powerful running and his speed and covering across the ground. There's no irony that Thomas Partey was the man of the match last season, even in a defeat against them, but in a much better performance, and a performance where we really came alive. And that's the first time we saw this Arsenal side, where this Arsenal side is now top of the league. So that's big. And so yeah, guys, that's the big one in terms of Thomas Partey in that transition area. That's where we're going to really miss him. In possession, I don't think so. Not as much, because Jorginho is very good in possession at progressing the ball and doing what Thomas Partey does there. And when we're set up defensively, when City have a little bit of the ball and they're trying to break us down, I feel like we'll be fine there as well. But in transition, when there's a turnover in play, especially go in transition into defense, not into attack. But yeah, that's the issue. But
I actually think this could work in our favor, and I'll tell you for why. Now, just like when Eddie came in, everybody was always set up for how we play with Jesus. Everybody's going to be Man City, and Pep does overthink. Man City are set up for playing with Partey. They have no idea how we play with Jorginho. And remember, Arteta has wanted Jorginho for a long time, so he's got a way for Jorginho to play in his side. Yeah, so it's going to change the dynamic for us, in a way as it's an unknown factor, and that is the kind of thing that can make Pep overthink. You know, like he's done in the Champions League, like he's done in cup games and whatever. He's overthink because he's already overthinking because it's Arteta anyway. Yeah, he does that. He does that. No, nothing's going to make him change because he knows Arteta knows all his bag of tricks, so he's trying to come up with something new. I think the Jorginho in there. Trust me, don't get me wrong. If it was toss up between Jorginho and Partey, I'd take Partey every time. But we don't have Partey. We got Jorginho. I actually think this could, because he sits a lot deeper. He's a deep lying, more like your Santi Cazorla, yeah, in front of that, and we've got enough going forward to make up for Partey, yeah. And you got to remember, this isn't the all firing Man City side of previous. Grealish is very good on the ball, but does he create enough? Has he got enough end product? I'm not saying he hasn't got end product, but has he got enough? Mahrez, great. If we can keep him under wraps and cut off the supply to Haaland, then we're in with a shout.
Yeah. Let me just run through the comments, and then I need to speak on the Tomiyasu part as well. So big up yourself, my bro Ed, who will be joining me for the watch along, guys. He'll be looking after the comments as I'm sorting out, as I'm watching the game.
Happy birthday for the other day, Ed.
Exactly. A big happy birthday for Ed for the other day as well. It was his birthday Sunday. Was it Sunday? I think so. Yeah. So yeah, big happy birthday to my bro. But guys, because it here is on Prime Video here, it means that we are streaming it. So those of you who aren't watching it in the country, that will be watching it on satellite. So, or some of those who will, and you have the opportunity. So I won't be having a look at the comments just in case I'm a little bit behind. I don't want to ruin any moment or any reaction if I see that there's a goal or anything like that. So Ed will be managing that there for me here. Appreciate you, my bro, for that one. Moss in here, big up my bro. He says, I don't know. Can I answer that Jorginho question? I just hope our leaders, Xhaka and Ødegaard, really step up and control it. Georgie, an injured Thomas Partey. Yeah, exactly. Should know soon. Yep, and we found that out now. Big up yourself, Peony. Hope you're keeping good. Says, I miss the mirrors. Yes, J20, baby. I'm fine with Jorginho. I'm fine with the team. Jorginho is experienced, and we've got him exactly for this. Fresh face is maybe what we need, which is kind of what Wilf was saying there. Big up yourself, guys. Big up Davin in the place. Hope you're keeping good. Says big
David.
up T. David, yes, David. Big up yourself, David.
Boy. It was his birthday on Saturday. It's his birthday on Saturday.
Happy belated birthday, David. Appreciate you for joining in here, man. Really nice to see fresh new faces or fresh new avatars in the place. There's my guy, Wilf. Big up yourself, realist. Hope you're keeping good. We got Ed in here. We got another Ed. We got
yeah, he's a Man United fan. He tried to cheer for Man City, but he got stuck in his throat, and I think he threw up a little bit when he tried to, because we banter each other a lot for the other team. But he definitely wants to draw tonight.
Yeah, exactly. And Ed's put in here Rodri versus Ødegaard, the big battle for me. We'll talk about that as well, bro. But just on the Tomiyasu thing, and then we'll get into the City, and then we'll talk about the big key battles in here. So Tomiyasu for me, Will's kind of said it earlier on in terms of talking about form. I actually think that, with Tomiyasu, I don't think form really comes into it. I think, Arteta is a tactical manager as well. And I think he looks at this and he sees matchups. He did it with Tomiyasu and at left back with Salah. Could have went with Kieran Tierney. Kieran Tierney was playing before that. And then Tomiyasu was out there at left back, done a job against Salah. And I think he's looking at Tomiyasu up against Jack Grealish in that 1v1 battle there. Grealish being the one who is a ball carrier and the dribbler and the driver and someone who gets a lot of touches and a lot of possession there. And also with Tomiyasu, I think he provides a little bit better of a overlap when he does play at right back than Ben White, who's still learning that position. Ben White, excellent player, by the way. And this isn't really any slight on him. This is more to do with what players have we got that are suited for each tactical game. Yeah. And I don't think it's to do with form. I don't think it's
I wouldn't say it was to do with I know I wasn't saying it, I was saying with Ben White, had he played, that could play on his mind. But what I was saying about Tomiyasu, he is a better one-on-one defender.
Yeah, exactly. And also what he will give you in possession with he's able to play with both feet and defend with both feet, especially. Guys, that's the best thing about Tomiyasu. He can defend with both feet. And when you are two-footed, it means that, you know, Wan-Bissaka, someone who's a great 1v1 defender, but if you take him on the inside, he struggles. When you take him on the outside, when he's able to tackle with his right foot, that's when he's at his best. But taking him on the inside, defending in a different way. And that's how Jack Grealish is going to be playing today. Starting out wide, coming inside, and having the runners in the half spaces like a Bernardo Silva. But guys, let's talk about this Man City team. We spoke about Arsenal. This is a much changed lineup already with Manchester City. Well, not much change, but interesting
decisions.
There's a
few changes,
Ederson in goal. Walker in at right back, or is it a back three? I think they're looking at a back three in possession, but Walker in there, Diaz, Ake, Rodri. Interesting there. So Rodri's going to be playing in a similar position to how he was against Aston Villa. I think this team is going to set up in a very, very similar way and in exactly the same way as they did against Aston Villa. Ake comes in for Laporte. That's the only change in there for that game. De Bruyne, Gundogan, Bernardo, Mahrez, Grealish, Haaland. So Pep Guardiola has made he set his side out. And I think we're going to see a similar team and a similar lineup to the one we saw against Aston Villa there, in possession and out of possession. Go on. Yeah. When I watched that Villa game, what was happening was Bernardo Silva was the one dropping in and covering at left back against Aston Villa. I watched it with a keen eye because, you know, of tonight's game. This is going to be a massive, you know what? This is a massive risk from Pep. And if it works, he's a genius. If it doesn't work, you're looking at the Chelsea UEFA Champions League final all over again. This is huge. Wilf, what's your thoughts when you saw that lineup there?
You know what? I'm favoured by that lineup, and you know I've got my optimistic head on all the time. But going back to that Villa game, yes, they scored the goals, but they were susceptible. That could have easily been a draw. Their defense didn't look as solid. Defensively, that Man City side didn't look as solid. I think the talent that we've got, exploiting that is going to make this a full-blooded, toe-to-toe, duke it out fight. I'm happy with that. With Bernardo Silva dropping in back into the left back, he's an awesome player, but he's not a defender. You know what I mean? So, with all due respect to Villa, they didn't have the qualities to exploit his defensive inadequacies. Does that make sense? And I think that's going to happen tonight. I genuinely think that's going to happen tonight. I am buoyed by that. That's actually made me feel more confident. Don't get me wrong, I'd have loved Haaland not to play and whatever. And I'm not saying that we're going to smash them or anything. This is Man City. But if they set up the way if they play like they played against Villa, I really fancy our chances against it in this game.
I hear what you're saying. I do hear that, and I thought similarly to you. City had the game wrapped up by half time. Aston Villa was shocking in that first half, and where I will give praise to Manchester City is that, you know, that midfield that they played with then, and the same one that they're playing here today. They've got so much. They've got everything in terms of in possession, got scoring goals, coming back, defending in there. They're well suited. That's their strongest area, and that's where they're going to be looking to win this game in that midfield.
Technical ability.
yeah, Kevin De Bruyne was a star. He was amazing. And if he can return back to that best, and if he can go and show that level that he did, especially in the first half, no matter who you are, you're not really going to contain him. Do you know what I'm saying? But
I don't want him doing that. I don't want him doing that, man.
Exactly. But what Wilf was spot on here. Defensively, they Aston Villa in that first half, it kind of reminded me a bit like they were shocking, like Spurs in a way when we play Spurs. Yeah. Whenever they had a bit of a chance to counter or anything, but they were shockingly bad. They made all the wrong decisions. Leon Bailey was awful. Watkins was non-existent. Buendia and Buendia and Ramsey were out of the game, couldn't get involved. That formation, the setup from Unai Emery was wrong. We're not setting up in that same way. We don't do that. We know how we set up, and we're going to have much more possession. The crowd's going to be roaring. We're going to have so much more momentum to carry on, and the quality overall in these attacking areas. Arsenal fast starters, and there was a fast start from Aston Villa in that game when Carl Walker got beat down that right, his right channel, Villa's left in the opening minutes. Aston Villa caused Manchester City a lot of problems in the second half. The consensus from fans and pundits was, City took their foot off the gas. No. That's not how champions, how Manchester City, when they were purring at their best, behaved ever in games. And this is
not how
why
Pep's teams have ever behaved. It's not how Pep's teams have ever behaved. Be it Bayern Munich, be it Barcelona.
And where I disagree with you saying that there could have been a draw, because I think City would have, if Villa aren't that good, right? We're not Villa. We're better than them. And Villa couldn't even contain them from a defensive point of view. But Villa certainly could have scored more goals, more than the one that they got.
This is what I'm trying to say to you. This is what I'm trying to say to you. All right, maybe it wouldn't have been a draw, but there would have, if Villa had been more clinical, they could have easily had a couple more goals, and then it would have made it interesting. You know what I mean? And if they play defensively that way against us, and we take our chances, if we get our noses in front, City aren't great at coming back at good teams from behind. Yeah, notoriously. If they're in front, and if they're on the front foot and they've got a lead, they will stifle you and they will choke you to death, and they'll put their foot on your neck and bracket. If we go a goal up and keep playing our football, and then keep hitting them on the break, this could the goal up. The first goal is going to be vital in this game. First goal is going to be vital in this game.
Oh, like they usually are in these massive games. You are right. It's a cliche that we always, that's an football cliche, and we always say it here, exactly. But you are fine. The first goal is going to be massive. I'm just getting this sorted, guys. I've got a little tactical map type of thing. Well, I've got a tactics board on here for you guys, and I'm going to show you how Arsenal are going to look when in possession. So let me just stop sharing this one here and bring this over. So I've got the numbers. I've got them all sorted for you right here, people. So this is how Arsenal are going to look when in possession today, right, and tonight. So this has been brought up. Let me zoom in for you so that you can have a proper see at it, so you can all see it fully. Is that all good on your end there? Yeah, it should be.
Yeah.
So this is where, if Arsenal were picking the ball up deep in here, I don't think we'd see Jorginho will be the deepest man in midfield. This is how City would set up when we get a little bit of possession. I can't draw the transitions because the transitions will be crazy in this game. But this is how we will set up. So as you can see here, you got Jorginho in at the base, Haaland dropping in. I think you might see Haaland really look to try and press one of our centre-backs when they're on the ball, which will then free up the likes of Jorginho. But what Manchester City will be looking at here is to try and trap Jorginho in here, because they're not going to sit back in a low block like Brentford and Everton did, guys. They're going to spring, they're going to set traps, because they press in a similar way to how we do. So you'll see Gundogan soon getting tight here when Jorginho gets the ball, but this will then leave. And this is where I think it will be a great time for Ødegaard to shine. And as Ed brought up here, the Rodri versus Ødegaard. Rodri won't even slip into that back line as much, because I think he'll have a kind of man-marking job on Ødegaard. And you may even see Bernardo Silva in at points round here.
And what does that do? And what does that do? It gives space for Eddie, and it leaves space for Saka.
This boy here Ake, when we look at the first game, Wilf, when we played him in the FA Cup, Nathan Ake, he pocketed Saka. Is the best performance I've seen up against Saka, partly because, you know, Saka wasn't on his day on that particular moment. But Ake was outstanding, right? But these are the little things, these are the little interchanges that you're going to expect to see right here. When Arsenal in possession, you're going to see this midfield in Kevin De Bruyne, Gundogan, Rodri, even Bernardo Silva at points where they can try and press up. But as we said here, this right-hand side in particular for Arsenal is going to be so massive today because Kyle Walker, just touching on this left-hand side here, he's going to be you know why Kyle Walker's in the team, don't you, right, Wilf? Explain it to the people.
It's speed. It's recovery speed. His recovery speed, even if it's not as good as it was 4 or 5 years ago, it's still good. You know what I mean? When he played for England, they put him up against Mbappe. Going forward, he's very good as well.
I don't think we'll be seeing him going forward much in this game, though.
I don't. But he wants the matchup with him and Martinelli. They don't want Martinelli skinning whoever was going to be on that right hand side.
And that's what it is in terms of his speed. Kyle Walker will get tight and physical to Martinelli, and his speed allows him to do that. And because if Martinelli does get a ball past him or does try and beat him, that recovery speed down this right-hand channel will help. But this is also what I'm about to say for you right now. Guys, this guy hasn't been at his best since the World Cup. He hasn't been. And it's this man right here in Granit Xhaka. He's going to have a huge game today. We're going to have to see the levels increase and what we have done in the past few games where, I'll be honest, Wilf, he has been redundant in certain areas, in the attacking areas especially, but that's not because of Granit Xhaka himself. I think it's his profile, but two, against the low blocks where it has been really tight in these areas where we've seen that
he's not had space.
Exactly. Midfielders dropping in to cover these half spaces. Manchester City don't operate in that sort of way. So the 2 8s in this game, my bro, are gonna be vital. And in Erdegaard, he's our main man, he's our chief creator. And then that leaves space for your man Eddie. What are you expecting from Eddie Nketiah's performance tonight? What are the things that you want to see in this game from Eddie?
You know, I want to see the performance that he had against Man United. Sorry, Ed, but and against Spurs, where he's on the half turn, he's spinning his defender and getting a shot off. He's coming in near post to get those little flick-ons. I think there's going to be a lot of poaching opportunities for Eddie in this game, unlike the Everton, unlike who did we last play, Brentford, because like you said, because there's no low block, there's space in that Man City penalty box, and I expect to see Eddie not drop so deep as he has been in games. He's going to be more on the last man, and he's going to be looking for those little through balls. And I think he's going to be on it tonight. I honestly think he's going to be on it tonight.
He's going to have to be. And as we was looking here in terms of Eddie Nketiah,
we all have to be.
Exactly. Everyone has to be. Can't take no passengers. And this is another thing that he struggled with against these low blocks, where it's not been a criticism of Eddie. It's just been a praise, really, of Jesus and how well he does up against these low blocks in generating space and with his clever movement and his tight dribbling. And he's such a unique player. And this is why we have, that alone, how we're praising Jesus and how we've missed him in the last 2 games is a massive credit for Eddie Nketiah and how he's performed in huge games, guys, by the way, where we played against Tottenham, Brighton, Man United, 3 top, Tottenham, not so much, but Brighton and Man United in top performing teams. Eddie Nketiah held his own up against Newcastle in that sense. And, once again, in that game, another game where we dropped points, where we were very unfortunate with refereeing decisions. And that's putting it lightly and mildly. Eddie Nketiah with space in that box. Guys, when the ball gets out wide, in his clever movement, I won't be surprised if we see another goal like we saw up against Manchester United, and that movement to the back post, peeling off away from Ake and Diaz. This is where, if I'm Eddie Nketiah, we really need him to start connecting in these left-hand sides. And where his little bit of speed and his acceleration will really help is against a Ruben Diaz. Nathan Ake is one of them, he's one of the quickest centre-backs in this league, in terms
very
of
underrated. Very underrated, yeah.
He's been their best centre-back this season. Nathan Ake, in best defender, not just centre-back in this season. So this is my thing that I want to see from Eddie. Join on that left-hand side, because let these guys roam in this space here. If you can give more space for Ødegaard to have in this area, which Arsenal certainly do play in when we're in possession, so the ball can come through into here, get the Manchester City defenders turning in off the back of there. Ødegaard, we know what he can do in shooting or passing, and this is where I think we'll see quite a few scenarios like this, guys. And when we do see it in the watch along, I promise we will. When you'll see Diaz took over, if Eddie's on this left-hand channel here, it's all about the execution of Ødegaard in his shot or pass to find Eddie Nketiah there. But he needs to peel off on that left for me.
There's a factor that I don't think people are remembering about Eddie. Eddie's closing down, especially on keepers. Yeah, I think he's slightly ahead of Jesus in that. Just the one thing that I think he's slightly ahead of. And Edison loves to linger on the ball a little too long. And I think if he does it today, he's going to come into problems. This is not a game where he's going to be able to linger and get his head up and see who's around to ping the ball. And whoever's press is better, I think we'll win this game.
Definitely. And that's it. And that's where I think the game's going to be won and lost today, guys, in transition. I was much more confident, earlier on with my 3-0 predictions. I don't think we're winning 3-0 now. I think it is going to be much tighter. But I think...
You said 3-0?
I did say... Yeah. I was fully confident with the team that...
Hey,
Thomas Partey in there. Because I don't fear this at all. The reason we fear Manchester City is for what they have done in the past. I don't fear this Manchester City side in terms of what I've seen from them this season as a team. Of course, I fear Haaland. Don't get me wrong. I'm not stupid. I weren't born yesterday.
It's respect. It's respect.
Yeah, and I have that. But as a team, and I feel we can create a lot of chances in there, and I still feel we can. I think this is an even better game for the neutral without a Partey, because the transitions that's going to be caused and the space that Man City will be able to find in these areas, it's going to be even better for them. And, and it's how that's where the game's going to be won and lost. It usually is in these big games in terms of how teams can get back into their shape as quickly as possible and how fast can the other team in the Premier League, with the best transition league in the world, right? And I was listening to Cody Gakpo talking about the Premier League in terms of what he needs to get used to and what's the difference. Gary Neville asked him, he said, it's so quick and so direct in the transition, in the counter-attacks. You play forward straight away. That's where most of the goals are scored. That's where a lot of them are. Not from, when little tiki-taka in and around the box like we used to see in the Wenger days. That the Premier League's not that anymore. It's very heavily transition-based. Why the likes of Conte and such have won Premier Leagues, and Jurgen Klopp in his intense Liverpool side have done so well. This is a huge game in that sense. Wilf, just before we kind of wrap up and get ready for the watch along, give me your final thoughts going into this game and how you're feeling and what you think the scoreline will be.
Score 2-1 to us. 2-1 to us. I am all day. I've been trying to feel nervous. On the Discords and whatever, and go, it's Man City, and if they win, then they catch us and blah blah and all the rest of it. But I'm not. I haven't been able to be nervous the whole game. I think this could be a psychological blow to Man City if they lose this. Yeah. With us, it's it's not a free hit but everybody's expected Man City to catch us from the start of the season. Everybody's expected Man City to catch us, so there's no big fright there. But this is the biggest game that has been at the Emirates since it started. This is the biggest game at the Emirates because of what it means. The team that we're playing, I actually think the tide has been turning on this Man City for us on this Man City side ever since that 2-1 loss where Gabriel got sent off. And if we manage to keep 11 players on the pitch, if the VAR decisions and ref decisions are fair, I think we turn them over. I think we do them. And if we beat them, I think that is advantage us in the title challenge.
I hear that, man. I totally do. And my prediction, my thoughts going into it, I've been feeling the nerves all day. When I did the Arsenal show with King, I was so excited. I weren't feeling nervous at all. Even before the Partey news, I had that sick feeling in my stomach. I was talking to Ed about it during the day. I think we are still going to win. My heart is telling me we are still going to do this. The Emirates crowd, the feeling that is around the club at the moment from the fans, how they're entering it and how they're really behind this team. We saw the very first moment. We witnessed that very first moment when Saliba scored that own goal up against Leicester and the whole crowd started clapping. Guys, I didn't see the game. I didn't see the game. I didn't see the goal at the time because I dropped my phone and I cracked it. And then I looked up. The ball's in the back of the net and I hear the Emirates start clapping. What the heck? What's happened? Offside or something? Or some is there a substitution being made? Then I saw the Leicester fans start cheering. I was like, hang on, I've never seen us concede a goal. I've never seen us or a team concede a goal before, and the whole crowd is clapping and cheering them on as if we've just got a corner. In a way, it was a surreal moment. And guys, we've seen that at other points this season. The very latest one was against Manchester United when Rashford scored and the whole crowd G'd up and clapped again. This is a special atmosphere at this club that we've got right now. And that's why my heart is telling me I feel like we can still carry through and win this game. And the team, the spirit, everything, the mentality that they have running through from the staff to each player on that pitch is on a different level. Guys, football is not just about with the ball at your feet, honestly. Most of the games are won and lost in there first. And up there, this team's special because a lot of you, everyone is a neutral here. Let's be honest, most of you didn't even predict us to get top 4. Everyone neutral. A lot of Arsenal fans can't even see it themselves. They still don't. Because these are things that aren't tangible. These are things that you can't grip on and say, because they can score 25 goals. We've got a player that can score 25 goals. We've got a player who's one of the best players in the world, like Kevin De Bruyne. These things aren't tangible, but there's a reason why Arsenal are in the position they're at and they're overachieving because of this right here. And I think that in this game, we'll carry them through. I've gone for a 3-2 Arsenal win in this one.
It's going to be close by that. I thought about that. I thought about if we get 3 goals, game we win this game. If we get 3 goals, we win this game. I am also looking for the matchup between Saliba and Haaland because I think Saliba's going to be on Haaland more. Although I would prefer Gabriel because of the physicality, but I think it's going to be Saliba.
Exactly that. There. Let's run through your comments for the last 5 minutes, guys, just before we get move on into the next stream there, and get ready to watch the game. I just need a good game and no ref doing up a madness. Big up yourself, realist, and that is so true. As Ed says, let's hope that this is about the players and not some silly referee. That's the one thing I hope. If we lose, we lose. Even if we lose,
it's Arsenal. Of course, it's going to be. Of course, it's going to be like that.
I don't want. This is it, man.
I don't want it. I don't want it.
That's one thing I hope for. Give me one game where we don't have to talk about the referee, please, and let it be this one, please. Big up yourself, Mr. 200 in here as well, and Ed, as all Man United fans are. I'll take a 0-0 draw. Every Man United fan will, because they're literally on the edge. They're watching it from their little window, peeping out the curtain, watching this title race as they're right in it.
You know what?
I think.
You know what I love about Ed?
What's that?
He wears his heart on his sleeve. He thinks Man United, and I as do I. They are still in this title challenge. Don't write them off. Everybody's talking about, oh no, they ain't. And I understand Man United fans not wanting to get carried away because they don't want to get clickbaited and all the rest of it. But Ed knows that if we slip up and Man City slip up, they're going in.
Peony says we're winning with an Eddie brace and Creamy to fall off his chair. I might be falling off the chairs tonight, Peony, for sure. Yeah. Amy, good afternoon from the East Coast, USA. Had to sign in for the match on Peacock app TV. I hope you have a good one, Amy. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you love each and every moment of it. Watching the pre-game too. You're watching the pre-game here? Guys, smash a like button and get ready for the actual watch along, which is coming up in less than 5 minutes time. Tezzy in the building saying 3-2 Arsenal. We got this. Come on, you Gunners. Is that your prediction as well? 3-2, was it? Or 2-1?
No, 2-1.
That's it. My apologies. So then we got there 0-0 with an Eddie hat-trick, says PD. DB in the place. Big up yourself, DB says 2-2, but we win based on these like celebrations. Jorginho, who exactly? N Smith. We'll see tonight. We will see indeed. And then Jorginho, he's got if he performs well and we win tonight, and Arsenal have a Premier League medal around their neck at the end of the season, 20 mil's a bargain. Not even 20 mil, 12 mil is a bargain.
12 mil.
Exactly that. Good evening to yourself as well, Wes Bird. I hope you're keeping good. Nice seeing you in here. Give Mr. W my love.
Yes, I hope both of you are fully recovered from your COVID bout.
Yeah, exactly. They both had COVID as well.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
I'm hope that you.
Wes keeps getting it. Wes keeps getting it. I think she's got like, she gets points or something when she each time she gets COVID. She because she gets.
I hear that now. But anyone else getting it? Anyone else that may be struggling with it or knows anyone with it, I hope you get well soon because it is flying about loads at the moment.
I know.
Hope you're good. Ake was great on that day indeed, Peony. You are right. I didn't think he was. He's a good defender. As Wes Bird agreeing with you there, Will, saying think this is a perfect game for Jorginho. Feel sick with the nerves. I agree with you.
Yeah, that means we're gonna win. That means when Wes Bird feels sick with the nerves, we win.
Yeah, exactly. Ake did good in the FA Cup, but with Ødegaard springing Saka, different story for Ake today. Yep, he's Ødegaard's there, not Vieira, who wasn't bad, but Ødegaard once again. Start talking about Nketiah and Jesus. I don't think Vieira was bad, but Ødegaard next level this season, one of the best.
And also,
players.
Saka's going to step up his game today, so it's going to be a different game to the.
Saka's a big game player. Saka's a big game player. Always, it has been ever since he stepped into the team. Really, always stepped up in the big games. Even when we played, when he was playing left wing back, he stepped up in a lot of big games for us in them positions there. So massive game, and he always was at home as well, guys. He always does it at home. Walker will tuck into that right centre back as well. It's true, and make a back three when they're in possession. I definitely see that. I think he'll be much closer and much tighter into the centre backs right there. True that, TT. Need big game from Xhaka and Gabriel Saliba to nail Haaland. I'm sure they will. And the thing is, we've not been really spoken about Erling Haaland for Man City because we know what we're going to get with him, and it's all about stopping the service into him. He's not going to create.
Yeah, there you go.
He doesn't create these chances out with the ball at his feet like Jesus does, but he creates chances with movement. And that's why he scored so many goals.
I hope that Man City do what they've been doing recently because there's been a lot of games when Haaland ain't been scoring, like the Tottenham game or whatever. They're just not getting the ball to him. He's making a run and they're not delivering. And I'm hoping that happens again tonight.
Exactly that. Big up my brother Reese in the building right here. He's a Man United fan. He says, hey, Tariq, and all right, Wilf. He's going 2-2 with this game. He says, I'm going Tariq. Humbling. Just kidding. I think 2-2 draw, which as a United fan, I'd be happy with. And there was another one as well.
All Man United fans are going for a draw, man. There's nothing, whether it's 5-5, 10 or 0-0, they want a draw.
Exactly. I'm very impressed with Arsenal as a United fan. It's painful how good you are, but our resurgence and your resurgence is perfect for the league. Indeed, you are right. Arsenal United back at it. We have a chance, but Wilf, you are spot on. It's down to us. It's down to slip-ups and us taking advantage. If we win the league, I'll be buzzed, but I think we'll just fall short. But I hope they can win the Europa League and League Cup. Indeed. And then we've got man like Shawnee in here as well. Hope you're keeping good. Liverpool fan right there. He says a big Man City win. He can't stand the Arsenal fan. Hey, I've got a lot of Liverpool fans.
Yeah, a lot of Liverpool fans are just like winning us not to, because
exactly that. It's true. But guys, we are going to.
I'm telling you now. One quick thing. I'm telling you now. If we win a league, I will be unbearable.
Oh yeah, more than you can believe. Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry, every Man United fan, even Reese, even Shawnee, because I had Liverpool fans that were the same at school. You're all getting a wrath of what I felt at school. 8-2,
yeah. Believe
6-1s, 5. Sorry.
Believe.
Exactly.
100%.
But guys, I will get into your comments as well. We're just going to get into the watch along now. So if you've got any questions or anything that you really wanted to talk about, we'll get into it during the watch along. But guys, we're going to love and leave you. Wilf, I hope you have a good one, my man. I hope you enjoy it, my bro. And I hope that
you too, bro. Love, peace, and hair grease.
Exactly, man.
Yes,
and then
love, peace, and hair grease, and we'll yeah.
Exactly, bro. Love to you each and every time, my bro. And love to you all, people. Join us for the watch along right now as we transition over there. Peace.